5 years ago, I experienced a bit of what it must have been like to be Alice in Wonderland. Penn State asked me, a communications teacher, to teach a communications class for engineering students. And I was scared, really scared of these students with their big brains and their big books and their big unfamiliar words.
Yeah, I was an engineering student at one point. I certainly had the big books, and there were big words that were involved. I don't know if I had the big brains, but I definitely had the big books. That's for sure.
But as these conversations unfolded, I experienced what Alice must have when she went down that rabbit hole and saw that door to a whole new world. That's just how I felt as I had those conversations with the students. I was amazed at the ideas that they had, and I wanted others to experience this wonderland as well. And I believe the key to opening that door is great communication. We desperately need great communication from our scientists and engineers in order to change the world. Our scientists and engineers are the ones that are tackling our grandest challenges, from energy to environment to healthcare, among others. And if we don't know about it and understand it, then the work isn't done. And I believe it's our responsibility as non-scientists to have these interactions. But these great conversations can't occur if our scientists and engineers don't invite us in to see their wonderland.
All right. Yeah, I definitely see that it being a two-way street. Certainly, the engineers and the scientists, the technical people, need to get better at communicating their expertise to non-technical people. And the non-technical people can help us out by saying, well, what can we do to make our communication more understandable to them? And I think we all benefit when we come together in that way.
So scientists and engineers, please talk nerdy to us. I want to share a few keys on how you can do that to make sure that we can see that your science is sexy and that your engineering is engaging.
Sexy science, engaging engineering. I like it.
First question to answer for us: so what? Tell us why your science is relevant to us. Don't just tell me that you study trabeculae.
She's absolutely right about the importance of that so what question. I think a lot of times technical people are more enamored with the process of even figuring out what they're solving and thinking about all the minutia that's involved with solving the problem. But we have to realize that the people we're talking to, the non-technical people, they may not care about any of that stuff. They may have other concerns, and we need to address those concerns, because if we don't, then they likely don't listen, and then they don't listen, and miscommunication happens, and if miscommunication happens, well, a whole bunch of other negative effects can happen as well. So I really like that slide of hers. It's us doing our science, but then how does that relate to the lives of the people that we're speaking to? Why should they care?
But tell me that you study trabeculae, which is the mesh-like structure of our bones, because it's important to understanding and treating osteoporosis. And when you're describing your science, beware of jargon. Jargon is a barrier to our understanding of your ideas. Sure, you can say spatial and temporal, but why not just say space and time?
She's absolutely right about that, spatial and temporal. And I've been to so many conferences, technical conferences, and they use these terms all over the place in the titles and certainly on the posters, if there's a poster presentation, and they'll use them during their presentations as well. And it's so unnecessary. I mean, space and time. Everyone knows what space and time means. Spatial and temporal, not all people know what those words mean. So why not make it easy on everybody?
Which is so much more accessible to us. And making your ideas accessible is not the same as dumbing it down. Instead, as Einstein...
Yeah, she's right about that. I think a lot of times technical people are concerned with balancing the technical depth and clarity, and they think that that balance equates to dumbing down the information, but it really doesn't. I mean, there's been so many instances, I'm sure, that technical people have been in audiences and they wish that the person presenting would present in a way that they could understand, but would they think that that presenter is dumbing down the information for them? I doubt they would. So why would they think that if they were to do that for their presentations, it equates to dumbing down for the audience that they're speaking to? Human beings. We're weird.
Einstein said, make everything as simple as possible, but no simpler. You can clearly communicate your science without compromising the ideas. A few things to consider are having examples, stories, and analogies. Those are ways to engage and excite us about your content. And when presenting your work, drop the bullet points. Have you ever wondered why they're called bullet points? What do bullets do? Bullets kill. And
Bullets kill. That's interesting. I never thought of it that way, but they certainly can kill a presentation. Because what happens is people will read and they won't listen. When they don't listen, they may very well miss important information that the presenter is giving. And what a whole bunch of bullets does is it gives that option for the people in the audience to read the slides as opposed to listen. When you minimize the number of bullets, or you at least minimize the amount of text on a slide, you eliminate that option of reading the slide. Now the people in the audience can listen or ignore, and hopefully you're engaging enough for them to listen.
And they will kill your presentation. A slide like this is not only boring, but it relies too much on the language area of our brain and causes us to become overwhelmed. Instead,
she's absolutely right. I'm reading, and as I was reading, I probably missed some of what she was talking about, and it was a quick slide too. So it was very possible I missed something that was important. I suppose we'll never know.
this example slide by Genevieve Brown is much more effective. It's showing that the special structure of trabeculae are so strong that they actually inspired the unique design of the Eiffel Tower. And the trick here is to use a single readable sentence that the audience can key into if they get a bit lost, and then provide visuals which appeal to our other senses and create a deeper sense of understanding of what's being described. So I think these are just a few keys that can help the rest of us to open that door and see the wonderland that is science and engineering. And because the engineers that I've worked with have taught me to become really in touch with my inner nerd, I want to summarize with an equation.
Of course, you gotta use an equation. Let's see what this equation is about.
Take your science, subtract your bullet points and your jargon, divide by relevance, meaning share what's relevant to the audience, and multiply it by the passion that you have for this incredible work that you're doing. And that is going to equal incredible interactions that are full of understanding.
All right, it's a pretty cool equation. I think I can get behind this. Certainly, you need that science because that's what people are there for. That's why you're the expert. Absolutely, you want to minimize the jargon because that's, as she said, a barrier to understanding. And you want to minimize the number of bullets because people will read as opposed to listen. Dividing by relevance. Yeah, well, relevance is important. It's what's in it for me. Why should I care about this presentation as opposed to why you as the presenter care? And then on passion, I think that could be helpful too. You being interested in the presentation that you're giving as opposed to something maybe that you're being forced to give. You may not have as much passion for it and it won't come across well, but it ending up is all of that equaling understanding. Yeah, I think that's a cool equation. I think that's a good equation that can work.
And so scientists and engineers, when you've solved this equation, by all means, talk nerdy to me.
All right, Melissa Marshall. Just a little over 4.5 minutes, I think you did a really good job of explaining why technical people should get better at giving presentations and how non-technical people can benefit from technical people becoming better at communicating with them. We all benefit as a result. Good job.